Hey guys, and welcome to the podcast. Now you may be like, "Where's the Bo you know?" Well, the Bo you know had some computer issues. Bo, I need you to mute. Okay. Okay. So the Bo you know has a trashy computer right over there that can't even run free tabs in Microsoft Edge or Chrome. I don't know which one she uses, but anyway, it can't even run free tabs in Google Chrome. That's how trash it is. And so it just freezes up. So she couldn't join that. So she had to join on the Moose computer. And that computer is kind of trash. Not as trash as her computer. Her computer has like a Celeron whatever and only like 4 gigs of RAM. So that's trash. That computer that she's at now at least has an i3, but it's a terrible i3. It's an 8th gen, but at least
Okay.
it's better than the Celeron. So
So
you have anything you want to say
wait,
before I start my rant?
yeah. So basically, what happened is, I come down the usual time. I come down maybe like today I came down maybe 2:50, and so I do what I usually do. Sometimes the podcast takes a little while to get the juices flowing because my computer is not that good. I mean, it's just like because of the restream stuff. I mean, it's a lot, but my computer it's hard for it to handle stuff. But I mean, like so it started with this thing loading. I was like, yeah, this is totally normal. And then it froze one time. And so I waited like maybe like 30 seconds and then like unfroze. I'm like, oh, okay. It's just, yeah, it's just, having a hard time today. Well, then when I was getting recommendations up, my recommendations wouldn't even load up. They were taking like minutes to get up, and I'm like, yeah, this is not normal. And my Amazon page was all wacky, and I was like getting like loading. And then when I finally got on a restream, it was so choppy. Bro's playing music, it kept going out, and then my whole computer just froze. It froze like 5 times, and then the last time it just like froze and it never unfroze. So I tried shutting it down, but it wouldn't even like shut down and put to sleep. So I just shut off the screen. I mean, I didn't really do anything because I couldn't even move my mouse. Like I couldn't like X off of anything. I just had to shut the screen and then go to this computer. So the recommendations are gonna be a little different, but we'll make it work.
And see, before I get started my rant, that's why Macs are so expensive because Apple is making the hardware and the software, meaning they can't make like 1,000 Windows computers. So you have all these options. Like on Windows, you have foldable ones. You have I don't know if they still make tablet ones. You have all that stuff. Apple can't make that because they're one company and they have to appeal to a broad audience. So their computers are so expensive because they can't cut the price down to make computers for people that want them cheaper because those computers would perform terribly. So yeah, that's why Macs are so
Oh,
expensive.
and I just say one more thing. See, so I've been needing a new computer for some time now because there's been some issues. I mean, they haven't been a lot, but now they're getting a lot more issues, and it's getting slower and stuff. But I don't have the funds for a new computer, so that's why I have to stick with my Celeron. You're
Okay, now for
welcome.
my rant, which is the thumbnail and the title. Um, what is with all these U.S. highways and all that fun stuff? So someone's going to the bathroom right now. So anyway, you take a look at the whole U.S. excluding Alaska and Canada because those are weird states. I don't even know what systems they have. They have some weird system with letters. But in the mainland U.S., you have all these interstates. It may look like a jumble mess from the beginning, but then you find that there are some patterns like from going west to east. You have interstates 5, 15, 25, 35. I'm going to skip some of the other ones all the way down to 95, which is the longest, which goes from Maine all the way down to Florida. But you see, there's already some weird stuff happening here. Interstate 45, which is in Texas right here, only exists in Texas. It's one of the major highways, and yet for whatever reason it doesn't even go into another state, which is sketchy. Let me see. Is there any more sketchy stuff happening? No, I don't think there's any more sketchy stuff happening. But then you come to ones that go north to south, or that's so confusing. North to south or east or west, depending on how you look at it. But basically, from going south, I think, yeah, from going south, you start Interstate 10, then you go all the way to Interstate 90. However, Interstate 50 and 60 are missing if you look close because you have 10. Where's 20? 20, you got 30, you got, where's 40? Okay, there's 40, you got 50. and 60 don't exist. 70, 80, and 90 all the way up. And now you might be wondering, where's 60 and 50? And they don't exist. Here's why. Because there's a Route 50 that runs from Sacramento, California, which is somewhere over there, all the way to Maryland, somewhere in the Ocean City area, and somewhere over there. So to prevent people from getting confused, they didn't make an Interstate 50 because this was before everyone had GPS and all that stuff. So they had to use all these road signs. Let's see what we have next. Another thing is called bypasses. So if you're on a major highway, here I have Interstate 80, for example, and you can see bypass 480 where the red arrow is, and that 480 comes all the way up and then reconnects to 480. I'm gonna have to turn. You can see down there, it does that. That's called a bypass, and the code that they use is the last two digits are the two digits of the highway that they're coming from. So Interstate 80 is the main one, and then Interstate 480 is the bypass, and so the last two digits are 80. And the first digit, if it's an even number, it's a bypass like this one, so it eventually reconnects. But if it's an odd number, it generally does not reconnect. But there's a whole lot of weird stuff happening. That there's an Interstate 480 somewhere, I think, in Long Island, New York, that something 495. However, it doesn't reconnect back to I-95 because Long Island is an island, so it will not make sense to loop back and connect back to I-95. So that's generally what happens, but some weird stuff happens. Another example is this one in I think this is North Carolina. You have I-85 going here, and then you have I-485 here. And that's another example of a bypass. Specifically, if a bypass is going in a circle, like the one in Baltimore, it's called, what is it called? It's called a beltway, I think. I completely lost that. But I think it's called a beltway or something like that. But then you come to spurs, which are the odd number ones. So here we have Interstate 40 coming in, and you got Interstate 540, and you can see that doesn't reconnect to I-40. That connects to I-87 all the way on the east side of how you pronounce that weird city. And then with the blue arrow, you can see I-440 does circle that weird city and then does reconnect eventually over there. Now let's see what else I have to talk about. Now you might notice a problem. As I stated before, I-95 is the longest one going east to west or west to east, something like that. And then I-90 is the one going north to south. We're just going to keep it like that because I get so confused on that stuff. You might notice a problem because this does all of the East Coast states, I think, or at least most of them. And with the spur and bypass system, you only get 9 options to bypass or spur off of the road. And that's even more difficult because Maryland has I-195, I-295, all the way down to I-85, I-895. They don't have an I-995. And that would only leave one extra road, which would have to be a spur unless they make an exception to have off I-95. Which is where it gets more confusing because you have duplicate interstates because it's just impossible to do the current system on an interstate this long. And that's what I have to say. The end.
Okay, so like I said, the recommendation.
Okay, you may continue.
Okay, so as I was saying, the recommendations are going to be different because my computer decided to like crash, I guess would be the word.
It decided to be itself.
Yeah, it decided to be itself and be trash. So, and you might be wondering, well, it could be the Wi-Fi. Well, the reason that it's not the Wi-Fi, I mean, it could also be a little bit of the Wi-Fi, but the problem that it's not really the Wi-Fi because the fact that it froze on my side, like my video froze on my side, that means that it's my problem, my computer's problem, not having to do with the Wi-Fi. And the thing on it said that my Wi-Fi was like a 3 out of something, and Bros was like a 10 out of 10. So yeah, that was terrible. Meaning that mine was terrible. And then my video froze and I could move my mouse around. And then a minute later the whole computer froze and I couldn't do anything with my mouse, couldn't leave or anything, so I just shut the lid. Basically, for recommendations, I have 2 items with me that I grabbed literally right when both popped on the screen. They started saying welcome to the podcast because I was in a rush because my computer crashed last minute. So these are just items that I use, but I haven't been used in a while because I got better products. But basically, I'm just going to tell you about them. So this is a sketching notebook. I got this at Michael's, and the can you put me on big? Okay. The brand is Artist Loft. I got this on sale when I was 9 at Michael's. I got it for a pretty great deal. I think the original price was like $10, and this was on sale for like $7 because it's Michael's, so things are gonna be a little pricey. But as you can see, it's Artist Loft, and they come with a lot of different colors for the cover. You can get like red, you can get black, but I got the light blue. And so some cons I have with this is that the pages, if you don't have a piece of cardboard under the pages, then it tends to bleed through to the other pages. So it's like you have to skip a few pages if you don't use cardboard. Like right here, I drew. This is my first drawing. This is my first drawing I drew in this book. It was of Alex Morgan. This was when I was 9, and then you flip, and there is marker residue stuff. So maybe if they made the pages a little thicker, but I don't use this anymore because nowadays it's just a lot easier to use cardstock instead of having to draw, and then the creases of the page would be in the way and like the book would be in the way, and I don't have a lot of room on my desk. So getting as very little things to draw as I can is really easy because my desk is small. And so another thing that I got when I was younger and used for drawing, but I don't use it anymore because, as you know, I got pencils, more professional pencils. But before I use those, I still sometimes use these because I have a color pencil book that goes with this. So each pencil in here has like a number, and then the number of the book will go with like the number of the color pencils. But the downside of these is they don't have a lot of colors. So I mean, these are like meant for like the book, but like if you use these in regular color pencils, it might be a hard time because there's not a lot of variety of color. I mean, there's no white, so there's no like highlighting in your drawings. And these don't blend the best together. I mean, they're not really meant to blend. They're meant to color in the book. But so these aren't really good for like coloring in drawings. But I think it's nice that they had these color pencils that you can go along with the book. And yeah, it has 36 numbers of hues, so 36 color pencils. And this is what's the brand? Mindware. I think that's how you pronounce it. And the book is also Mindware. You should buy it separately because that's how they do things. But basically, that's the recommendations. And yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, continue on your rant.
Oh. Okay, so my rant is not gonna be that long, but I have a rant. Okay, so my rant is about this person who has a really complicated name, but his shortened name is a lot more easier to pronounce. So his really long name is like something, I don't know, I don't know if it's German. No, no, it's not German. It's okay, it's something. But anyway, the name that I'm gonna call him, because that's his shortened name he also goes by, is Thor. So his full name is Thor Pedersen. And so this guy left his house in Denmark, so maybe it's like a Denmark name or whatever, left his house in Denmark in 2013 because he wanted to become the world's first person to visit every country without flying. And the reason he wanted to visit every country without flying is because he banned himself from planes, basically, is what it's like called. But like he's not against planes. I mean, like he traveled on planes before. He likes planes, and he has nothing against planes. And you have a question? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, imagine trying to do every country. The last country you have to do is North Korea. Just imagine how fun that'll be.
Yeah. So He left his house
And
in 2000.
what does he consider as going to every country? Like spending a day there, like, or
No,
what?
I'm listening at that. So, and the reason he wants to visit every country is because he's really like, uh, he's passionate is the word about visiting other cultures and seeing like what life is like in other parts of the world than Denmark. And so he does, like I said, he doesn't ban himself. I mean, he bans himself in planes, but he's not against planes. Like he will go on them, just not when he's trying to travel the world and be the first person to not do it. So he likes being on the ground because he likes experiencing nature from the ground because he experience nature a lot. And you might be wondering, well, what ways does he like? I'm trying to read Bro's comment that he made, but anyway, what ways does he like travel? Well, he hikes a lot and he boats. I think, yeah, he does boats. Uh, he rides buses in like cities and stuff, and so his Thor sticks to an average budget of $20 a day. So he, I think he hikes a lot because a bus to travel a certain amount probably would be like $20. But basically, he doesn't try to spend more than that because traveling the world is very expensive, and Thor usually spends 4 days in each place, around 4 days, or just like a few days. He usually has like a planned number of days before he goes, so just so he knows how long to expect. It's usually no more than like 4 or 5 days. But so when he was planning to ship to Hong Kong, to travel the country, um, not the country, yeah, the world, whatever. He said, okay, I'm only gonna spend 4 days. No, he spent 4 months in Hong Kong because he really liked Hong Kong. So, he he likes Hong Kong. That's like his favorite place he visited so far, and he visited a lot of different places because he been there since 2013. And yeah, that is my little rant about Thor
So
Pedersen.
where is he now?
Where is he now? He, ooh, um, he's 42, I think.
Okay, no, I asked where he was, not
I
how old
know,
he is.
I
That's not
know,
even a related
I know,
answer.
I know. Where he is. I don't know where he is. I feel like, oh, and I know this isn't answering your question, but during the COVID, he was still able. I know this is not answering your question, but he was still able to do this thing because he just had to get like tested a lot, and he had to go with all the stuff, but he could still like travel somehow. But basically, where is he now? Let's look that up because we have time. Where is Thor Pedersen now? Okay, now I'm spelling things wrong. Um, he's been to 194 countries. It's not telling me where. Uh,
Okay, well, yeah, you probably should have done this before because
yeah, shut up. No, I was thinking of maybe doing more, but then I was like, I don't know if we're gonna have time for this, so I might do like a
that's
part
why you
two.
over
Um,
prepare.
I
You
might
ever
do
thought
a
about
part
that?
two like next week or something. You're welcome. Mister, I used to do the news, but I don't do any anymore because I don't like to prepare for the news. You're welcome.
Actually, I don't have any news, believe it or not.
Ah, why is that? Because you don't prepare for it. You're welcome.
No, I just don't have news. That's the thing.
Okay, that is my rant.
Okay, now we're gonna go to our final words.
And guess what, bro? You just have to do your rant. Guess what I have to do? I just do my rant.
I don't know what happened to the mic. Speak.
Hello? Oh, basically my
Okay, now
computer's
your
dead.
mic's working.
I don't know. I don't know if my computer's gonna work. I hope. I don't know.
Okay, continue speaking. Your final words.
My final words. That was my final words, though. There's paper clips here. I mean, I can recommend these. They're good for binding paper together.
Hey
They're really
guys, and thank you for watching the podcast. We had some technical difficulties there. If you guys want to be a special guest on the show, because we haven't had one in a while, just email that email right there. I said so many times that probably know it by now. So if you want to be a special guest, just email that, and we'll see if we want you on our show, if you have anything interesting to offer. And with that, guys, that's going to be our show. And I do not have my outro video, which I don't even like in the first place. So I'm just going to play this video for our outro.